Hey, friends! This time round, we're looking at a sort of family film set in post-war Ireland. That's right, The Secret of Roan Inish from 1994, directed by John Sayles. Our story goes like this. Our heroine, Fiona, is living with her father in the city, and they're both unhappy. They're still mourning the loss of Fiona's mother, as well as mourning the loss of their home back on the island of Roan Inish, among other things. The dad decides the city is no place for his daughter, so he packs her off to live with her grandparents. Now they live in a small village on the coast, not far from their former island home, Roan Inish. The girl is exposed to stories and legends about the island and her own family. Her little brother disappeared not long after the mom died. See, the people had to leave Roan Inish because they just couldn't make a living there anymore in the face of changing times. While evacuating for the mainland, the little boy was carried out to sea in his cradle, and they couldn't catch up to him. And it looks like something carried him off. Now it turns out one of the stories the girl hears involves Selkies, the mystic figures in Celtic folklore who take the form of seals. One of these Selkies married into her family, apparently, which is why Fiona seems to have an affinity for this area and Roan Inish, and why these seals always keep looking at her. As time passes, her grandparents find out they have to leave their rented home, which means her grandfather will no longer be able to live near the sea and the island he once called home, and he's pretty sad about it. Can Fiona help her grandparents? Can she discover the secret of the history of Roan Inish and her little brother? And what's up with this seagull? As a family movie, this isn't like a Disney movie, if you know what I mean. There are some parts that are actually a little spooky. Not scary, really, but spooky. Kids can totally watch this just fine, but it has a maturity. It's just a nice picture for anyone. Adults won't be cringing at the kids' stuff, which is good because Fiona's the main character, and she's a kid. In our cast, there is probably no one you know, although several have appeared in British or Irish shows and movies. Probably the only sort of name brand here that you might have seen is Eileen Colgan, who plays the grandmother. She appeared in Vanity Fair, My Left Foot, and Far and Away. Gotta say, I loved the grandparents in this, and you know what? I love the kids too. Fiona and her cousin are really well played, and unlike many kids in movies, they're completely not annoying or overly precocious. That's always refreshing in a movie with kids in it. And I loved how the stories are told here with some nice narration by the grandfather and one of her cousins. This film is based on a book called Secret of the Roan Skerry, a children's novel written by Rosalie K. Fry in 1959. There are a few changes from the source material. Primarily, in this film, the action is moved from Scotland to Ireland, and the narrative is expanded to make it more cinematic. And the idea behind the family having to leave their island reminded me of another film, one of my favorites, made in 1937 by the British John Ford, director Michael Powell. The Edge of the World was based on a real event Powell saw in a newspaper about the residents of an island in the Outer Hebrides called St. Kilda. Because they couldn't make a living anymore on this remote island, they had to ask the British government to relocate them to the mainland. Generations and generations lived on this island, and they had to give it up. Just think about that. Your whole way of life, your community, everything just gone. Powell's film captures this type of island community with all of its customs and history and the little cultural eccentricities of their society. Definitely a four-paw picture, one you should see at least once. As for The Secret of Roan Inish, there is some great storytelling in there. John Sayles created a very fine, gentle film with a touch of longing and sadness, some mystery, a lovely score, and a love letter to Irish culture. A quiet meditation on Celtic legends of the sea. There's a bit of magic here, and not just in the story. So I'm giving The Secret of Roan Inish 3 1/4 paws. Well worth a watch. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.